Hi, everybody, and welcome to this EasyAsk webinar. Storefront, EasyAsk, and e-commerce studio, how they're related and how you can use them to enhance your e-commerce site. And the thinking behind this webinar is we really want to go back to basics and explain to everybody what Studio is, what analytics are, what are the components that make up your storefront system. Over the last several months, we've worked with a lot of storefront customers, and many of them have said, actually, we don't know what analytics are, or what is Studio. So we thought we would run this really short webinar just to kind of go through a very high level what these things are and how you can make use of them and what they're there for. And in future webinars, we'll look in a lot more detail at the capabilities of each of the components. So with that, I'm just going to go through a little bit of housekeeping. So firstly, my name is Robin Aitken. I'm the product manager here at EasyAsk, and we're going to try and keep this webinar really short, 20 minutes or so, plus any questions. If you do have questions, please just type them into the question box, which is on your webinar screen, and we'll address them all at the end of the webinar. So with that, I really want to go back to basics and look at what you have in your organization. And at the heart of your organization is your ERP, SXE or FAX, or perhaps CSD. And your ERP is what is controlling everything related to your business. So it's managing orders, it's managing customers, it's managing inventory for your products, which products are in which warehouses, and so on and so forth. And so it's a crucial part of your organization. And then outside of your organization, obviously you've got a set of customers, and they are interacting with this system through your customer service agents. And that can happen in many ways. It could happen by traditional mail. A customer might actually post an order in. It could be email. It could be fax or telephone. And in some cases, in many organizations, there will be field service reps who are out visiting customers, not so much in these days, of course, but in a normal year, you would have field service reps who are dealing with your customers, taking orders, perhaps working either through the customer service team or directly with the ERP when they're back in the office. Again, if that ever happens again. So many years ago, Infor then introduced this product called Storefront. And what Storefront does, it effectively gives your customers the ability to deal with you via the web. So this Storefront system is a web interface effectively onto your ERP in terms of selling products. So customers can log on to Storefront, they can find products, they can order products, they can look up their orders, and so on and so forth. And this system might also be used by your field service team. It might also be used by your customer service team. Let's look a little bit more closely at Storefront itself. And there are several components within Storefront. Obviously, there is a component that is creating the web pages, the look and feel that you have, that your users see, your customers see. There's functionality for adding products to an order, i.e. shopping cart, or for viewing a list of orders, or for displaying an order. And all of that requires ERP integration. So the ERP integration is the module which is effectively talking to your SXE system or your fax system in order to check stock, to check the status of an order, to place an order, and so on and so forth. So it's an important component. But at the core of Storefront is EasyAsk, and EasyAsk is controlling most of the user experience. So anything related to product search, instant search, so the autocomplete, search results, ranking, the filters that you see in faceted navigation, all driven by EasyAsk. It's also controlling the category navigation, and For some users, you could be using business rules, promotions, and altering the display settings within EasyAsk as well. Another key feature of EasyAsk is that it is logging everything that happens into what we call an analytics log database. So every search, every click is recorded together with the result of or the outcome of that operation. Was it a successful search? Was it a unsuccessful search? What was the click on? Was it an attribute? Was it a category? And so on. And this vast amount of data enables us to produce reports, which we call the analytics reports. And we'll look at those a little bit more closely in a couple of slides' time. The other key component that some of you will have is a thing called EasyAsk Commerce Studio. And that is an optional component within the Storefront system. Many of you have it, some of you won't, that gives you control over that whole EasyAsk piece at the core of your storefront. So it gives you control over the user experience, and it also gives you visibility into what is going on there. So the basic EasyAsk within Storefront is handling all searches. It's handling search results pages, navigation, category clicks and pages. But with a basic in-force Storefront installation, you're going to have default settings for all of these things. And often we find this isn't always working well. Sometimes that's because of configuration issues and the way that it's been installed on your system. Sometimes it's just the fact that you are slightly different from your other Storefront customer colleagues, and you do things slightly differently. And so the default settings don't work so well as yours. They might work for many other customers. Studio gives you control over all that. So it's the control panel for all aspects of EasyAsk. So let's just say you want to boost your own brand to the top of the results, or you want to push accessory type products below the main products, or you want to change the order or ranking of products in a category, want to change the order of filters. Perhaps you want to create brand new ways to shop that aren't supported by your current storefront data. EasyAsk and Studio even allows you to do that. Want to fix searches that are not performing well, a key function within Studio. So all of these things can be done through the EasyAsk Studio. And there's a few sample screens just to give you a flavor of what it actually looks like. So business rules there, for example, boosting the top 10, the top trending products, those products that have got a sales rank short less than 100, i.e. they're in the top 100 products in the short-term ranking. Synonym screens, very easy just to click on a little add icon to add new synonyms. Showing you dashboards about what is happening and detailed reports as well. And these last two screens are examples of what we refer to as analytics. Analytics is the output from that vast amount of data that EasyAsk records every time somebody does something on your site. So as I said, we're recording every search, every click, and we are then able to produce reports from that data, such as, which searches failed, which are the top searches, what are people doing on your site, what spell corrections, what are the top clicks, and so on. And I can't stress enough that these analytics reports are really fundamental to understanding what is happening on your site. By looking at the searches that are failing, obviously you can fix them, but just as importantly, looking at your top searches, understanding the terms that people are using to refer to your products, so that you can add synonyms if they're using terms that aren't recognized or aren't contained in your product data. So it's really fundamental to being able to improve your site, to have that visibility through the EasyAsk analytics. And these analytics reports are generated as Excel spreadsheets and emailed to you weekly and monthly. And we found in working with many storefront customers that this doesn't seem to be set up in some situations. There are configuration errors. Somebody hasn't set up the mail server correctly, and little things which are very easy for us to fix. So if you're unsure whether you're getting your analytics or whether you're seeing the right things, just get in touch with us. There's a contact screen that we'll put up at the end. Get in touch with us. It will cost you nothing to have a conversation with us, and we can usually jump in fairly quickly and get those things sorted out. So it's really important that you can get this really valuable information about what's happening on your site. That's what analytics are. And in Excel, obviously, what you're seeing is static information. Whereas if you have Studio, you can also see the analytics, but the difference is that they are interactive. Again, which searches aren't working, what are the top searches, what are the most popular categories, and the ability to even do ad hoc queries of that analytics log data. That means that you can get to virtually anything you want. And within Studio, when you display these reports, they can be previewed. So you can click on a search and immediately see the results in a preview screen. You can click on a little icon next to the search to go and analyze it and to figure out why it's not working, if it's one of those searches that isn't working, or maybe you want to just tune it slightly to get slightly better results. So all of that is possible directly from the analytics report within Studio. Another thing we get asked a lot about is what we call SAYT, or search as you type. And search as you type is EasyAsk's very advanced autocomplete system. In other words, it's going to start showing suggestions as the users start to type their search. And we will show more than just suggestions. So we might show suggestions, we might show the top brands, or we might show the top categories alongside the suggestions. And also in a lot of cases, we will want to show the top products. So we're actually putting products in front of the user even after they've only typed 2 or 3 characters. These search suggestions are automatically generated from EasyAsk based typically on search history. And so top searches that are trending in your business, will automatically kind of bubble to the top of the suggestions. So the user is more likely to see the popular searches at the top of suggestions, obviously assuming those searches contain the characters that the user is typing. But importantly, suggestions can also contain other things, and commonly that means including things like product part numbers or manufacturer part numbers or parts of part numbers. And EasyAsk does have a way of breaking up part numbers into component pieces using various algorithms that make finding a part a lot easier than having to type it all. And I'm going to demonstrate that now on one of our customers' sites. So I'm going to an organization called JLM Wholesale. They're an EasyAsk direct customer. They use Storefront. So this is a Storefront site, even though it may not look like it to many of you. And they are using search as you type in their search box. And so if I start to type a search, for example, for a mortise lock, after a few characters, I'm seeing suggestions pop up. So I'm seeing the search suggestions. I'm seeing the categories that are relevant to these suggestions. And also, and very importantly, I'm seeing the top products. Now, I could click on one of these products. In this case, I'm just going to click on the search, and that will do then a traditional search, just as if I typed the full search and then press return. But when it comes to part numbers, if, for example, I know that the part I want is one of the ML370 series products, as I type, notice that the suggestions are getting refined. And when I type ML370, I can see exactly the product I want. And I can click on that and jump straight into the product detail screen to either review the details or simply to add it to my order. And as you can see from the actual part number, which I'm highlighting, just type in that ML370 or 37 is far more accurate and faster than typing that long part number, which I'm very likely to get wrong. So that's what search as you type is, and I'm just going to switch back to the slides now and just summarize things for you. So EasyAsk is driving most interactions between your customers and you within Storefront. So it's doing everything related to search, navigation, finding products, getting from the initial screen to the place where the user can add a product to an order. One of the problems is that the info provided EasyAsk is generic, and generic's great in that it means it will work to an extent with every Storefront customer. However, the downside is it's not going to work as well for every customer, and that's where having Studio to be able to control that behavior gives you the advantage. The other thing that we find quite a lot with the kind of generic info installed software is that it's been installed incorrectly, and there are configuration settings that are causing what should be fairly easy things for EasyAsk to show to fail, to show bad search results. And it's really important, that if you're in any way unsure of the accuracy of your search results, just give us a call or email one of us, and we can take a look for you and actually make sure that the basic configuration is right. Analytics are essential to give you that kind of window into what is happening on your site, and being able to see what is happening means you can see what you need to do. You can see where problem areas are. If you've got problem areas, you can see what the most important areas are to optimize, to really improve the user experience and keep your customers loyal and happy. Search as you type is the instant autocomplete that's putting products in front of your customer while they're actually typing. So we can skip over the whole doing the search and looking at the search results page if we've hit on the right product, as I demonstrated on JLM. And finally, EasyAsk can support Storefront, EasyAsk Studio, obviously help with analytics and search as you type through our EasyAsk Direct program. And that's where I come to a shameless plug that the EasyAsk Direct program for Storefront is available to all Storefront customers. It replaces Info Storefront support. So if you're getting fed up with the long wait times of Info getting back to you because you've got a problem, speak to one of our customers, get in touch with us, and find out how quickly the EasyAsk team, with its supporting teams of Storefront experts, have taken to resolve problems for our direct customers. As part of the EasyAsk Direct program, you'll get the latest version of EasyAsk. We're currently on version 16. In the first half of next year, we will be releasing a new version. Most Storefront customers are either on version 12 or 14, so they're missing out on features, and also performance, because EasyAsk gets much faster as we get through the versions. We will provide you with EasyAsk Studio as part of the direct program. So whether you've got a license or not, you will have Studio if you're an EasyAsk direct customer. We will make sure that your analytics are working. If you've got anything like a recent version of Storefront, so long as you're not too many years old, then chances are we can also set up search as you type for you, just like you saw on the JLM site. We can even give you a brand new, responsive, mobile-friendly shopping site. Just like with JLM, that is a site that's had a new skin put on it, and that's something that we can do as part of the direct program too. And to support all of that, we would give you full training and concierge level support, where we will meet with you either once a week or bi-weekly to address any issues you've got, or to help you achieve any goals you've got for the coming time. And so, end of plug, but really this is a no-brainer. It's not going to cost much. It's probably going to cost you less than you're paying right now. So reach out to us, and we can certainly talk to you about that. It won't cost you a penny just to talk to us. Okay, so with that, Matt, I'm just moving into the question and answer time. Have we had any questions, Matt?
Yes, and we still have time for some more, so if anyone has any other questions, feel free to put them into the question box. First question is, how do I know if I have Studio? And if I do, how can I access my Studio?
Okay, so in order to find out if you've got Studio, the easiest way is to ask us. We know who has what. Reach out to probably Matt is the best person to answer that. And if you've got Studio, then Matt will notify somebody in the EasyAsk team who can reach out to you just to make sure that it's set up correctly, and give you instructions on how to get into it. And if you've never used Studio, you might want to have a brief training course just to understand the capabilities and to make sure you really get the best out of it.
Okay, next question is, if Infor has set up a default for EasyAsk in Storefront, but it's not working to our liking, what can we do about it?
Okay, so I mean, if it's not working to your liking, it could be that, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, maybe there are some configuration issues, and we've discovered this with many of our customers, that things just weren't set up correctly, and that's making things fail that should easily work. And it's very easy for us to discover what those problems are, and to jump onto your system and do something about it. That's one reason you may not be getting the perfect search that you would expect with an engine like the EasyAsk search engine. The other reason could be that the default settings aren't suitable for you and your data. And again, that's where using Studio, using EasyAsk to take a look for you and give you some advice would really give you some benefits. And we find that all the time. The default settings are good probably in 75% of cases, but it's always possible to improve the search results. Nearly, in fact, every customer, 100% of customers that we deal with, we are able to see improvements in search. Even if the default appears to be working okay, as soon as we show you what you should be looking at in analytics in order to make improvement, we see that there are areas where improvements can be made, and we'll help you to make them. If necessary, we'll train you so that you can do that as an ongoing thing. Again, it's coming back to analytics, but yeah. Okay, Matt.
Okay, next question. Is EasyAsk able to determine the percentage of increase in business from before Studio to after Studio on a website? So they're able to see the increase.
So one of the things that we record is the success of search, and we can certainly show you before and after, what sort of percentage of searches are failing, and that's something we do like to monitor. In the case of conversions, which products are actually bought, we don't have that information. However, if you're part of the EasyAsk Direct program and you go for the kind of new look and feel option, we plug in to Google Advanced E-commerce Analytics, and what that means is we can produce detailed data on conversion rates, the dollar value, if that's of interest, the units sold, and so on, over any time period. So we can then actually monitor how changes you make in Studio are actually having an effect on your bottom line, which is what we all want to achieve. But without Google Analytics, we are limited to showing you the success of getting the right products in front of the customer. And we don't have the analytics in EasyAsk as to what the user did after that.
Right, I believe that's how we found out that JLM Wholesale. Oh. Sorry, Craig, go ahead.
Hi, guys. Yeah, sorry, guys. Hi, it's Craig Bass. I'm the CEO of EasyAsk. Just want to add one thing, and Robin, thanks so very much. If you take a look at what JLM had achieved, and Robin had that up on the screen earlier, and it was a good question that just came in. It's the combination of adding search as you type, right, and then making your site mobile and having a fresh look and feel to Storefront that actually does provide the impact of being able to generate new revenues. And the net benefit of that actually to JLM was they achieved a 400% revenue boost from that. So, all those components together actually are pretty effective along with Studio in allowing you to track your analytics and track how successful search is or search isn't, and being able to take a look at no results terms, for example, and then creating synonyms to fix that really provide all that benefit. But I just wanted to kind of mention that along, to help answer that question. So thanks.
Thanks, Craig. Yeah.
Yeah, and Craig, actually stay on because this next question came in, I think, just for you. With Infor placing Storefront on extended maintenance, how is it possible for us to still work with Storefront going forward in the future?
Well, that's exactly the issue that we had. And so, we were aware about a year before Infor made the announcement that they were no longer going to be enhancing Storefront, that they weren't, because we come out with EasyAsk version 16, and normally we provide that to Infor. They build in the next generation of Storefront, and they didn't. So we were pretty, fairly aware that that wasn't going to be happening. And that question was the exact question that I'd asked of Infor Corporation, the product manager at Tug, a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. And at the time, the question was, well, feel free to work directly with the Storefront clients. So that allowed us to change the nature of our relationships and being able to reach out and help. And Robin referred to this earlier. We found, many situations where EasyAsk wasn't being configured correctly. We were surprised. We assumed that Storefront was doing that, or Infor was doing that within Storefront. But many times that wasn't the case. And we quickly engaged, and, within a few hours, we get EasyAsk, working much better. But then we also provide the ability to add new features and functions and really kind of take over the roadmap to drive Storefront forward. So, with combinations of EasyAsk version 16 and search as you type, and working hand in glove with Storefront to provide a fresh look and feel to Storefront, you can actually take that, B2B platform forward without having to, spend an enormous amount of money and try to implement a whole new B2B solution.
Thank you, Craig. We got one more question. Guys, if anyone else has any questions, please send them in. Robin, if I'm not receiving analytics spreadsheets, what information do they give me, and how can I turn this feature on?
Okay, if you're not receiving the spreadsheets, again, get in touch with us, and we'll take a look. It's usually a very quick thing for us to fix. It's happened many times with storefront customers where things just weren't configured correctly for them to get the analytics. Once you're getting analytics, obviously what you're seeing is what is happening on your site, how people are using your site, and the sorts of things that need attention. Maybe there is a search which is fairly common which is failing. It may be that the terminology is different in terms of what the user types and on how you describe products in your product catalog. Maybe there are trending slang terms that are being used that you weren't aware of. Having that analytics data really opens your eyes to what is happening, and that in turn leads you to what you need to do to improve the site. So if you're not getting the reports, please get in touch, and we can take a look and figure out why and fix it. And it's usually something very simple. All storefront customers should be able to get analytics reports.
Okay, actually got a couple more questions that popped in. Does the Infor client need to be on the most recent version of Storefront in order to move away from Infor support and switch to EasyAsk Direct?
No, the short answer is no. We have many EasyAsk Direct customers that aren't on the latest version of Storefront, some on very old versions. And we have teams of people who are skilled in all the current versions of Storefront.
And the last question as of right now, guys, still got time to send some in if you have any. Is there an average percentage of revenue increase with Studio and EasyAsk Direct?
I would say, what we always try to aim for is a 25% increase for those people that use search. That we would expect as a minimum in terms of the kind of conversion factor. And with Storefront, it's difficult because of the way Storefront is built. It doesn't record all of the information that we need to prove that. But as I'm sure many of you are aware, EasyAsk also has a huge B2C customer base, and many of those customers are tracking lots of details using Google and other analytics tools. And just to give you some examples, we had a customer who went live with EasyAsk last year who in 6 months saw a 140% increase. Companies like Timberland, who the shoe and boot company, they had a 71% increase in revenue when they switched to EasyAsk from using a different search engine. So we see some huge increases to the extent that we were, for our B2C customers, because it was measurable, we were guaranteeing 25%. But we would hope to see at least that, and it really depends on where you're going from, obviously, because if your search is very poor, obviously we would expect to see a much bigger number than that. But if your search is reasonable, then we would still hope to be able to get up to that sort of level of improvement. So I would say there isn't an average because of the fact that Storefront doesn't record the information we need in order to prove it. But we can certainly see big improvements in certain customers that have done that have replaced the front end. And Craig mentioned JLM with the 400% increase in revenue. Hope that answers the question, and it's a little bit vague, but we would expect a minimum of 25% is the short answer. Any more questions, Matt?
No, thank you, Robin. That is it for the questions that I see.
Okay, so
back to you to close this thing up.
just before we finish, I just want to plug the Lunch and Learn series of webinars. So starting from January, and everybody who's on this this particular webinar will be getting an invitation. But in January, we're going to be starting Lunch and Learn, very short and sharp webinars that look at specific areas that we've found people have asked us about. So I'm not going to go through and read all of these. We do have an agenda for the first 6 months, but we'd also like to know what sort of things you would like to kind of deep dive into, and we will try and put that on the agenda. Perhaps even change the agenda if it's really important to several of you. So those will be coming along in January and monthly thereafter. Finally, I'd like to thank everybody for being on this. I know you're all very busy, and hopefully we've not used up too much of your time today. But do get in touch if there's anything that you're unsure about. If you think search isn't working as well as you think it could be, or maybe you're not seeing analytics, or maybe you just want to find out a little bit more about the direct program, do get in touch with one of us. Our contact details are on the screen. And this webinar has been recorded, and hopefully in the next couple of days, you should receive an email from EasyAsk, which you will have all our contact details on, and also a link so that you can go back and review anything that you may have missed on this. So with that, again, thanks for your time today, and I wish everybody a really happy holiday and a great 2021. Thank you.